Hi guys! Oh, this is really exciting. Welcome to the very first Year 7 challenge video. I'm going to start doing these once a week now, so every Friday I'm going to pop up a little challenge video. Everybody is welcome. Please don't worry that it's going to be too difficult or too complicated. It's just to kind of throw something a little bit extra into the mix if you want something maybe a little bit more crunchy to have a think about. So, my dears, for this lesson, you are going to need a pen. You are going to need some paper. They are the essentials. Please pause this video now and go and get a pen and paper if you don't have any. Whilst you are doing that, get yourself a coffee because it's essential. If we're doing some harder brain work, you've got a beverage of your choice. I'll give you a sec. Pause. Pen and paper. Absolutely definite. Are you back? Do you have pen and paper? Okay, cool. I will crack on. So, I want to start off by telling you all what an allegory is for today. So, an allegory is a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or a political one. So an allegory is a story, poem, or picture. So we're thinking about a story. We're thinking about Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That can be interpreted, that can be looked at in a certain way that suggests it has a hidden meaning. It might mean something else under the surface. It's symbolizing something, representing something. And often it's a moral or a political one. So it's kind of trying to sneakily influence how we think or what we think about something. And our big question for this challenge video, do we think The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is a Christian story? Is it a Christian allegory? We know from the work that we did last week that C.S. Lewis was a Christian. That was in the the autobiography you did for C.S. Lewis. What I would like you to do now, please, pause the video, grab that pen and paper that I know you've got, and I just want you to make some really quick notes. What do you already know about Christian beliefs? What is the story of Jesus Christ? What do Christians believe? Press pause. You back? Made some notes? Okay, cool. Let's see what you had. Let's have a quick run through. For the story of Christ, Christians believe there is one God. They believe that God sent his son Jesus to earth, Jesus Christ, to teach people how to live good and kind lives and to follow the way of God. So an angel came to the Virgin Mary and told her she was pregnant with God's child. Then 9 months later, Jesus was born in a stable in Bethlehem. This is the nativity story. This is why we celebrate Christmas. If you've ever been in a school nativity play, maybe, that story is where the story of Jesus begins. As Jesus grew up, he spent his life teaching people to love and to forgive each other, and he performed many miracles. But as often happens, Christians believe that as he gained more and more influence, people began to become threatened by him. People started to not actually like him. When he was 33 years old, Jesus was arrested and condemned to death. He was crucified in a place called Jerusalem. That's why we celebrate Easter in this country. That is the time that Jesus died. Christians, this is the important bit, this is the bit we need to get our heads around. Christians believe that Jesus went to this death willingly. He sacrificed himself, and that meant he symbolically took all the punishment for everybody's sins. So anything bad, Christians believe, anything bad any Christian ever does from now until the end of time, Jesus paid for. Jesus has already taken the punishment for that sin. So for all the sins that came before his crucifixion, and for all the sins that will ever come after his crucifixion, if you believe in this, if you believe in God and Christianity, that crucifixion, Jesus dying, was like the collective punishment for all of those sins. 3 days after his death, Jesus was resurrected. He came back from the dead. And then some of his most faithful followers watched him ascend to heaven, watched him go up to heaven to be with God forever in eternal paradise. So, Christians believe that Jesus died for our sins. He died to save us. But because he returned to life and then rose to heaven, this symbolizes to Christians if we repent their sins, when they die, they can ascend up to heaven too. That is the story of Jesus, the idea that he died for our sins, but then he rose again, and that tells Christians that they are forgiven and that there is also a place in heaven for them as well, as long as they try to live well and they are sorry for anything bad that they do. Truly sorry. You can't just pretend to be sorry. You have to really, really mean it. Can you potentially see any similarities between the story of Christ and the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Pen and paper time again. Pause the video. Make some quick notes. Are there any similarities you can think of? You pause the video. I'll have a sip of coffee. It'll all work well. You good? You back? Unpaused? Don't forget to unpause me. Like, the whole thing doesn't work if you do that. Hello? Unpause me. Cool. I'm sorry, I'm being a bit silly today. Okay. Any similarities? Here are the ones I came up with. So in Christianity, Jesus is the Son of God who teaches everyone how they should live or how they are meant to live. And in Lion, Witch, Wardrobe, that's what LWW stands for, in Lion, Witch and Wardrobe, Aslan is the king of Narnia who brings hope to all of Narnia. So we've got two figures, two authority figures, bringing messages to people already. In Christianity, Jesus dies for our sins and then returns to life 3 days later. In The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, Aslan dies for Edmund's treachery, but then returns to life the next morning. In Christianity, Jesus leads people to try and defeat the devil. And now in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, Aslan is leading people to try and defeat the White Witch. Did you get any others? Those were the 3 main ones I got. You may well have seen others. You might be better at this than me. Huh? Okay. What did C.S. Lewis say? Did C.S. Lewis, we know he was a Christian, but did he actually intend to put any Christian allegories, remember that word, Christian allegories, into his novel? So C.S. Lewis, when he was asked, said, "Some people seem to think that I began by asking myself how I could say something about Christianity to children, then fixed on the fairy tale as an instrument, and collected information about child psychology and decided what age group I'd write for, and drew up a list of basic Christian truths and hammered out allegories to embody them. This is all pure moonshine. I couldn't write in that way. It all began with images. A fawn carrying an umbrella, a queen on a sledge, a magnificent lion. At first, there wasn't anything Christian about them. That element pushed itself in of its own accord." So the author of the book says, "Some people seem to think that I deliberately set out to work out the best way of teaching kids Christianity. I decided I'd do it by choosing an age group, by writing a fairy tale, and then I punched in all the Christianity, and it was all about Christianity from the very beginning." But Lewis says this is, where is it? Okay. This is all pure moonshine. It's nonsense. C.S. Lewis says, "I couldn't write in that way. At first, there wasn't anything Christian. That element pushed itself in of its own accord." What do you think? This is what I want to know now, because I'm not entirely sure. I believe C.S. Lewis there. First of all, do you think C.S. Lewis deliberately wrote The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe as an allegory? You can disagree with me. You can disagree with C.S. Lewis. What do you think? Maybe you think it definitely is a Christian allegory, but C.S. Lewis didn't mean it. It did just force itself in later. He kind of did it on accident. Do you think maybe this is all nonsense? Moonshine. It is just a story. There's no allegory, and all those similarities in the book of Christianity are coincidence. There is no way that Aslan and Jesus are meant to be the same kind of character. You can think that if you want to, that's fine. But finally, can you think of any other stories or films which might contain allegories? And they might not be Christian ones, but can you think of any other stories or films that might be actually secretly telling another story underneath, that might be symbolizing something? We'll have a look at this next Friday, but I bet if you really think about it, you might actually realize there's a lot more of this kind of allegory and symbolism out in the world than we think there is. Yeah, happy days. Well, I'm going to do a new challenge video every Friday. They're never going to be very long. It's always just going to be a little snippet like this to give you guys something else to think about. If you want to email me any ideas, if you want to have a discussion, please do. But thank you so much for sharing this with me. It's been lovely to have a cup of coffee with you and talk about allegory. Very exciting. Have an absolutely wonderful weekend, my lovelies. Keep yourselves safe, and I will see you as soon as we possibly can, as soon as it is safe. Bye bye.